G'day guys, welcome to the preview show again. Okay, here we go again. What a huge week it has been. What a huge week it has been. It's never dull being a Carlton supporter. I'll tell you what. Imagine being drafted at this football club and hearing, okay, and a lot of it's been valid. We knew it was going to come. I said in my preview before the Collingwood game that the shit would hit the fan, and it did for the loser. But not only did the shit hit the fan externally, media and also supporters who are starting to jump off. But apparently on Monday, the shit hit the fan. It hit the fan in the rooms after the game. David T obviously went through them. And then again in the player review on Monday. So it was brutal. Apparently it was brutal. Looking forward to seeing what that actually looks like, okay? What that actually looks like, not just this week against the Dockers, okay? Not this weekend. I'm talking what that looks like for us right the way through this season and moving forward, just right the way through the football club. What does it look like? It worries me. So just quickly before I get onto the preview, just want to thank all you subscribers. Clocked over 1,500 subscribers during the week. I've heard that's okay. But yeah, just want to, all the new ones who've hopped on board, there's nothing like a brutal review to get a few new subscribers. But thank you to all the loyal subscribers who've been around since, I started this, 2.5 years ago. Your support is much appreciated. Fantastic responses and comments from my last video. And a special shout out to my friends from League Teagues. I've sort of forgotten them over the last few weeks or so, but I always try and wear one of these t-shirts. I think this is my favourite, the old AVCO. Please check their website out. They provide me with these wonderful t-shirts. And I'm going to call him my man now, Bo. Okay, Bo from Card Craft Oz. That's his own company. He reached out to me during the week and said, would you like me to do your artwork? And if you see my artwork, it's putrid, absolutely putrid. It looks like I've got a 2-year-old to do it, but that was on, I think, on Tuesday or Wednesday, and he just went bang, 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 bang. Next thing you know, I've got a new logo. I've got new banners for both Twitter and YouTube, new thumbnails, and he's just been brilliant. So check his stuff out. I'll put the link to his company in the descriptions below. Fantastic to have his support. Let's get started. I mentioned shit at the fan, and there's nowhere to hide, okay? And I think that's fantastic for us, okay? The fact now that we're not in that patronising stage anymore, and we need to grow up. We need to grow up quickly, or we're just going to probably go back to where we were. And no one wants that, okay? And there is hope. There is always hope, but changes need to be made. And what that looks like, okay, only the club inside probably knows what that actually looks like. Interesting from a public relation point of view, how the week unfolded ahead of our game against the Dockers this weekend at Marvel Stadium. Interesting the way the club approached it. I think the biggest backlash I think the club could see, they knew it was going to come from the media, and it always does, but the biggest backlash has come from the supporters. You always have the pessimistic and cynical supporters like myself. I'm quite happy to put my hand up and say that. But not so much the apologists, but the ones who've been on board, like really on board for a long time in regards to being positive and just really positive about everything, appeared to hop off a little bit, okay, post the loss to Collingwood. And I thought the PR battle between the club and the supporters was really interesting. One, the club put up Jacob Wiedering for an interview. He was the one that came out. They didn't put up Patrick Cripps or Sam Doherty, the leaders. It was Jacob Wiedering. I'll talk about what he said in a minute in that interview. And the second one was this man up here, and I predicted this on the 28th of March. I think, what was that, the Friday or the Saturday? I predicted that Luke Parks, what a perfect opportunity it would be to debut a youngster, and I said this boy would be the one to debut. based on the fact that the club would have seen, and this is no disrespect to this young guy because he deserves this opportunity. It's a perfect opportunity to get someone new, okay, in, because we've got some underperforming players, okay? Put that on the table now. But from a public relation point of view, soon as David Teague announced that today, okay, the team selection, the selections haven't even come out, but he announced that this dude will be making, Luke Parks will be making his debut. Suddenly the negativity from the supporters, which the club would have heard during the week, would have been deafening. Everything they put up on Twitter, people were responding in a negative light. Someone's birthday, people responding negatively. They would have sensed this, okay, and the way, okay, that you quieten the supporters and get them back on board to a certain level for a period of time before the game is to debut a youngster. And it's great to see, looking forward to Luke Parks, boy out of the Swans Academy, overlooked by the Swans, headed to South Australia last year to Glenelg in the Sample. Thought that would be a better pathway for him. Obviously no football in Victoria last year from a VFL point of view, so he had to go to South Australia. They had a shortened season and he was outstanding as an intercept defender, a real shining light for the Glenelg Football Club. And we picked him up as a rookie, and he's had a really, really positive start to his career at Carlton, both throughout the pre-season. Unlucky not to get a game in the seniors in the practice matches, but his VFL form has been really good as that intercept defender. Who comes out? Who knows? So the club have done it perfectly. As soon as they announced that he was making his debut, suddenly, okay, the supporters are back on board. Beautifully done. Absolutely beautifully done. Wiedering, why Wiedering instead of Cripps and Doherty? Okay, let's get a young bloke in. Probably the supporters respond better to hearing from Jacob Wiedering rather than Sam Doherty and Cripps at the moment, just because the leadership's been questioned a lot. Let's get a young guy in. I think the thing that I got out of that interview with Jacob Wiedering ahead of this game against the Fremantle Dockers was he said we need to get back to our strengths and, put it quite simply, get the job done. Now, I'd ask Jacob, I'd also like the football club, also like to know what actually are our strengths? What are they? Because we need to start seeing what our strengths are. Because frankly, I don't know what they are. I don't know what they are because we're getting mixed messages. We're getting mixed messages continually, both from the players and particularly from the coach. For 1 minute, the coach is saying we want to play exciting football, we want to excite the fans. Next thing you know, we need to get back to the basics and the contested ball. So it just seems to be a mash of mixed messages and rhetoric from both coach and also from the players. And this is no disrespect. They've got to get up and they've got to talk. Okay? They've got to do it. All right? So, and it's got to the stage now where it's almost like we're like that disinterested and underperforming kid at school who continually tells us what we want to hear. Yeah, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this. But when it doesn't happen, okay, they then need to kick up the arse. And it almost sense that the only way this club of ours can to move forward at any stage is to continually get a kick up the arse. It's become like a vicious cycle. It's almost attention seeking. And it gets to the point now where we just don't, because it's like that and it's been like that, we just now don't believe anything that comes out of the mouths of both the coach and the players, which is concerning for the club. It's concerning for the club because they're losing the supporters. They're losing the supporter base in that regard. So they're losing the battle, okay? They'll lose that battle, that PR battle. And it's almost like circle work. It's like that old training drill. Get the ball, kick it, run around, never really go anywhere. You're just going in circles, just going in circles. It's going in circles. So we need to see, and not just this weekend against the Fremantle Dockers, not just this weekend, because I can see what could happen. We could give them a bit of a touch up, and next, everything's okay. But we need to see what our strengths are, whatever they are, we need to see them on a week-to-week basis. It needs to be ingrained. It needs to be something that we can see, and the players understand that as well. Because frankly, I don't think the players understand what the strengths are. They tell us what they are, well, they sort of tell us what they are, but what are they? So it needs to be part of our DNA so that when other sides come up against us, they know our brand. It's all confusing to me what it is. And I think it's confusing to people in the media as well. What do we stand for? What does Carlton stand for? And I mentioned in my review of the Collingwood game that we're neither physical or we're skillful. And we think we can just come in this weekend on the back of a spray by the coach and a bit of honest truth that we're all just going to change that around in 1 week. I don't think so. I don't think so. So we need to be careful of that, okay, particularly against the Fremantle Dockers, who I really rate, okay, and I know they're a developing young team, and if we think we've been decimated by injuries, and disappointing to hear young Jack Carroll has possibly got a broken thumb, Callum Marchbank apparently is injured again, then that's compounded with the injuries to both Zach Fisher, who won't play, and Jack Martin. I'll tell you what, them boys going out of the team, okay, I reckon some blokes who are going to get the arse may get a second chance just on the back of that. So, but the Dockers, they've been decimated as well. Okay, they've been hugely decimated. There's no Fife. Okay, he's gone out of the team, and I wanted him to fucking play. I really did. I wanted Nathan Fife to play. Okay, I wanted to go up against their best. And that's disappointing. They've got 3 of their starting key backs out of the team. Pearce, Hamling is a premiership defender, and young Griffin Lowe, who I reckon, he's a really, really bright. I know he's getting on a little bit. I mean, he's 22, 23, but he's a really, really good prospect as a key defender. Okay, but they've got a great mix, and they've got the depth. I know they've beat up on a really poor GWS last week, but they never let the Giants get into the game, and they beat them in the contest very early and put them off their game. And their crop of young talent, this is what fascinates and intrigues me about this game against the Dockers on Sunday, is our apparent young talent and who's going to come into the team. Is it Lockie O'Brien come back in? Does it Kennedy come back in? Who's going to come back in? Is Stocker going to get an opportunity? So we're going to show off our young talent against their young talent. And I'll tell you what, their young talent is very eye-catching and good. Okay, and we think they're going to be a little bit they're going to come to Melbourne a little bit off, which they were against Melbourne in round 1. Okay, but the likes of Brayshaw, Chera, Sarong, they're all Melbourne boys. They're going to enjoy coming to Docklands and play in front of their family and friends. Okay, they're right on top of their game at the moment, those youngsters. And they're the ones that are driving the ship. They're the ones that are driving the ship, or sailing the ship, or whatever you want to call it, for the Fremantle Dockers, where it's the other way around for us. Okay, we're relying too heavily still, okay, on the blokes who we should be putting back in the VFL. Okay, but it's spread right out. Cox, Giro, Young, the boy that they drafted last year, Young on a half-back flank, Frederick, exciting half forward. They've got a really good young ruck brigade, okay? Young Lloyd Meek, big man mountain, a boy from Ballarat, and Darcy back into the team now. They debuted Heath Chapman, okay, last week, picked 14 in last year's draft. Okay, so they've got that really nice mix of exuberance and enthusiasm. And then their next tier, I don't particularly mind, okay? They've found a role. And this is why I'm impressed with Justin Longmuir. Okay, I was going to say John Longmire. Justin Longmuir, okay, as a coach. I think he's shrewd. I like the way he goes about it. I don't think he suffers any fools, but at the same time, he's very, very well planned, and he loves role players. And he's got a group of players from other clubs who he's found roles for. So we talk of the likes of Aish, who's gone from being a big player at Collingwood to really finding his feet. Akers the same from St Kilda. Conkers found another role, okay, as well. Expect him to maybe do a run-with role on Sunday. Collier from Essendon. I mean, Luke Ryan. I mean, what a story he is out of the VFL. Wilson's still a very damaging player across halfback. Young Hughes as well, he's not young anymore, 26, just a really solid defender, holding that fence with Brendan Cox. And don't underestimate Taberner as well. I think a lot of clubs, opposition, not so much internally but externally, underrate Taberner. I think that's a big job this weekend, particularly for Jacob Wiedering. And they get back. Okay, I know they lost 5, but they get back Waters, and we know how good a footballer Waters is. And the old guy Mundy, that's how you want your veterans to be playing. I mean, this guy's about 105, I think. Okay, I checked his birth date before. He's been around forever. And that, if you're going to play, okay, if you're going to play the veterans, all right, they've got to be playing good football, and he is playing really good football. And they haven't got many in their team, but he's an absolute champ, okay? In fact, he's as good as Scotty Pendlebury, okay, in regards to the age and the output. And I reckon he's extremely underrated, okay? And just to look, got a couple of really working class small forwards who could do some damage. Schultz and Switkowski, Sam Switkowski, try and get that one out. Both boys out of the VFL. Schultz from Williamstown and Switkowski from Box Hill. Both about the same age and both extremely hardworking. They're not going to be any easy beats. They're not going to be any easy beats this weekend on Sunday, and frankly, I'm a little bit worried. About this game, but it's another opportunity to measure where we're at, okay? Measure where our young players are compared to the Fremantle Dockers players are. Measure where our next tier is compared to the next tier of Fremantle Dockers players. I'll pose the question, should we be well and truly at our stage of our rebuild past or in front of, where the Dockers are? We're going to find that out once again this Sunday. And if we reckon the shit hit the fan after the Collingwood game, I'll tell you what, all right, I don't think we'll be able to clean the mess up if we get beaten by, okay, the Fremantle Dockers. And we can remember back, 2018, just one of many nails in the coffin. And I'm not saying Teague's in trouble. Don't get me, I'm not saying that, but the synergy of this game. Teague's given us two of the greatest moments over the last, say, 10 years with wins against the Dockers over in Perth, okay, the last two games, the Murphy kick, then the Jack Nunes kick. But I keep thinking back to that game in 2018 when we were really on the nose. We were really on the nose, okay, when Brendan Bolton was coach. And I reckon we're just slightly on the nose at the moment unless we turn things around pretty quickly. And there was that game at Marble Stadium, 2018, where we didn't kick a goal in the first half and they beat us by 10 goals, the Dockers. It was one of the worst performances I've seen in a very, very, very long time. I was going to finish off this preview. About our captain, Patrick Cripps. Okay, and he's copped a fair bit. Okay, he's copped a fair bit as well. We're going to find a fair bit about our football club over the next 3 or 4 weeks and this year, but we're going to find out a lot about Patrick Cripps as well. He won't be the first player, very good player, to cop heat. Dusty's copped it, Dangerfield's copped it, I think Bont copped it for a period of time. They all cop it. All the champions, again, if we want to see Patrick Cripps as a champion, they cop it at some stage in their career. He's been questioned from a lot of different quarters. My, and it's not a knock, it's just an observation, okay? It's just an observation. If he's playing lame, if he's playing sore, and already it's out, and already the club are talking about it, so it's not hidden anymore. High performance manager, but Andrew Russell said the 10-day break will do him well. We know he's been ejected. If he's playing lame and he's not performing to 100% or 95%, whatever that may look like, and he is underperforming like he did last year, then that's fine. okay? Because from an individual point of view, well, it's not fine. From an individual point of view, he has to take that on board, okay? Because he's not getting the best out of it. But he's the captain. Him and Sam Doherty are the captains of this football club. They are supposed to be setting the example, okay? And as far as I'm concerned, if you're going out there each week and not performing because you're sore and you're underdone, then really you're only doing an injustice to the football team, okay? My advice would be stop looking after yourself and worrying about yourself, okay? Because purely if you're not performing, okay, it's time to rest and get yourself right and let some others come in, okay, and try and improve themselves, because you're not doing this club any favours by going out on the ground and playing, okay, because it's just putting too much attention, okay, on the club and the team, and we're underperforming. I'm sure he'll hit back. But a decision's got to be made on that, okay? And if you don't want to play by those rules, okay, then don't be captain, okay? Don't be captain. It's as simple as that, okay? Captains need to be completely selfless. They really do. All right, that's about it. Thanks again for your time. Looking forward to Easter Sunday at least. It's been it feels like 10 years since we played Collingwood last Thursday. At least they're probably not going to, if we lose, they're going to fuck our weekend up because it's Sunday. But let's get 4 points on the board and then reassess the following week. Thanks for your company.